Hello, everyone. This is Keith Jackson, and welcome to Jack's Math Notebook. This is an introductory video in Algebra 2, perhaps late Algebra 1, but typically taught in Algebra 2. And we're going to talk about compound inequalities. Compound inequalities come in two varieties, and they are and compound inequalities or compound inequalities. And today we're just going to talk about the and compound inequalities. And the word and stands for the overlapping area, and that overlapping area is called the intersection. And so let's take a look at an example to help us get an understanding of that intersection. So let's say, for example, we have x is greater than 3 and x is less than 9. So first, let us graph x is greater than 3, and we're going to graph an open circle right here above the 3, and since we know that x is greater than 3, we know that x is perpetually to the right of 3 right here. That why explains why this arrow is going in the right direction. Conversely, we have x is less than 9, and since we have a less than symbol, we're going to graph the open circle right above 9, and we're going to know that we're going to draw the arrow this way to the left of 9 because x is less than 9. But in the meantime, there is an intersection where the two interact with one another. That's the intersection right here that you see here. And then all we have to do is just graph those two circles where we have x is greater than 3 and x is less than 9, and we're just going to make a line to connect the two to let you know that that is the point of intersection. And so x is actually between 3 and 9, greater than 3, less than 9. And it is good to write that x right here in the middle with the two inequalities going in the same direction so you don't get confused as to which number goes where. And so in this case, since we know that x is greater than 3, right? So we're going to put x here. You see that greater than right there? We're going to put a 3 right here. And since we know that x is less than 9, we're going to put a 9 right here to indicate that x is less than 9. And as you can see, this right here is a representation of what you see right here in the graph. And so we're just going to rewrite it right here as a clear answer as x is greater than 3, but at the same time, x is less than 9. And let's go on to big example 1 to kind of get a deeper understanding of this concept of compound inequalities in the form of and looking for the intersection. And so we have 5 is less than or equal to 4x plus 1, which is less than or equal to 13. And what we're going to do in this case, we're going to subtract the number that is close to the variable x. In that case, it's 1. And so we're going to subtract 1 from all sides of this inequality. And when we do that, we're going to end up with 4 is less than or equal to 4x, which is less than 12. And what we can do in this case, and there are other ways of doing that, but here's the first method that I'm going to teach today, is that we can break this inequality into two parts. We can break it into the first part in which we have 4 is less than or equal to 4x, and we have that right here. And at the same time, 4x is less than 12. Just as long as we involve the variable, we have these two situations here, and now we can work them out a whole lot easier. And so let's start with 4 is less than or equal to 4x. And when we do that, we can divide both sides by 4 because 4 is on the same side as x. And when we do that, we will find that x is greater than or equal to 1 for our first part of understanding our and compound inequality. And let's work out the 4x is less than 12. Again, dividing both sides by the number that is next to x, which is 4. And when we do that, we have 4 divided by 4, which will give us 1x or just x. 12 divided by 4, which will give us 3. And we know that x in this case is less than 3. Let us make our box right here. Let us make our little diagram right here so we don't confuse ourselves as to where to put the numbers. And so we have x right here greater than this box, but less than this box. And so when we look at that right here, we know that x is greater than or equal to 1 right here and less than, or I should say less than 3. I'm going to repeat that because we do have that open circle and I want to make sure I get it right. And in this case, x is greater than or equal to this 1, while at the same time, x is less than 3. All right, and we see it right here. This diagram matches the graph. Okay, you have been given a lot of information. I wouldn't blame you if you need to pause the video just to take a look at how and compound inequalities work, or replay this video as many times you need to get a deeper understanding of this concept. But I love making videos, so in the meantime, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to Jack's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.